Fans against studios, studios against the fans. We've been seeing that a lot lately. Things in Star Wars have been really bad, and now the cast of the Acolyte and Star Wars, they're coming out and now they're attacking their own. They're attacking the studio for not doing enough to protect them. You're not going to believe what you are about to see.
Echo 3 to Echo 7. On nobody. 3
Echo Station 3PA.
Yep, here we go, guys. The actors need all the protection they can get, and now they're mad because they're not getting it.
Ridiculous, of course.
You cannot make this stuff up. It is so ridiculous. But let's get into it, Coach.
So this just dropped today. Shut up, phone. You get to edit that out.
I didn't even hear it.
Okay. So this just dropped today. The Acolyte star Jodie Turner-Smith, puts Disney on blast for failing to defend cast from racist backlash. And go down here and look at her comments. Now, look, right here, it sets it all up. They're talking about, in an interview with Glamour magazine, the failure of the Acolyte. It's been canceled. And they got her thoughts on that. And here's what she says. They've got to stop doing this thing where they don't say anything when people are getting effing dogpiled on the internet with racism and BS. She's saying these things on Glamour magazine. Not too glamorous. It's just not fair to not say anything. It's really unfair, she says.
Wah.
And then she says it would just be nice if the people that have all the money were showing their support and putting their feet down. Say this is unacceptable. You're not a fan if you do this. Make a really big statement and just see if any money leaves. I bet you it won't, because people of color, and especially black people, make up a very large percentage of buying power. They might find that it's actually more lucrative for them, but everyone's using woke like it's a dirty word. Nick, is she saying that only black people were for the Acolyte?
I don't know what she's getting at here. This whole statement of hers is dumb. But I mean, if you just look at the population statistics, blacks make up a significantly smaller majority than white people. It's just a statistical fact. There's nothing racist about it. That's just a fact. No. And then if you take those percentages and put it into the Star Wars universe, that's even a smaller number percentage.
Yeah.
So I don't know what she's talking about.
She kind of fell off the deep end here.
Yeah, make up a big part of the buying power. Like, what are you talking about? Statistically, that just doesn't add up.
But what is she even talking about here? She's wanting the corporation and powerful people with money to put their foot down and to shut up the audience. So hang on. What do
take free speech away? You can't say anything.
What do they think the fans who buy their service owe them? If I buy your service, are you telling me I can't be critical?
Yeah. And it's funny how she doesn't give any examples of this effing dogpiled on the internet with racist BS nonsense garbage.
Right.
Like, where are the examples of that? Can you show any? Nobody can show any of this stuff. It's just people didn't like the show. They didn't like the characters. And people have said it millions and millions of times before. It's not anything personal against the actors and actresses, unless they go out and make some dumb discourse video. And then when you come after the fans like that, then of course the fans are going to turn on you. Nobody liked Jar Jar Binks and what was the actor's name?
I won't say nobody, but few people.
Yeah, very few people. But Ahmad Best. And he got some hate, but he never went after the fans. And so many other actors didn't go after the fans.
Yeah.
And nobody dogpiled on them. So what they're talking about is racism. It's the same dumb narrative talking points that these people throw out there.
Racism's not the problem. We just got back from a convention where we got to see Billy D. Williams. The main stage room was completely full of mostly Caucasians,
Mhm.
40 years old and up.
Yeah.
And when Billy D. Williams walked on stage, we went crazy. We're all
Yeah.
clapping, hooping and hollering, excited to see Billy D. Williams. Racism's not the problem, and that's just the go-to when what what you were in failed, and you need someone to blame. And ironically enough, Jodie Turner-Smith's blaming everyone. She's not
Yeah.
just blaming the toxic fans, you know, saying that it's their fault that the show got canceled. She's also blaming Disney for not putting their foot down. Like,
Yeah.
this isn't the Soviet Union. What are we doing? So that's not all. Jodie Turner Smith, who recently just said 4 days ago, we don't get to fail upward like a lot of white men. Nick, she's blaming everybody. What I'm afraid of is we're going to see this across the board. This is going to
Yeah.
be a new playbook. The actors now are going to be blaming everybody from the fans to the studios.
Yeah, they're blaming everybody except for the people they should be blaming, like Kathleen Kennedy, the director, the writers, who are the problem and why this show failed. It had nothing to do with the actors specifically and their
Exactly.
personal beliefs and whatever they believe in. Nothing to do with that. The show was trash. The writing was trash. The directing was trash. Nobody liked it. I mean, there was a handful of people that liked it, but it wasn't enough, and it didn't justify the now we know $300+ million that they spent on it, which doesn't even include the marketing that they spent on it.
Right. Right. It's just such an unfortunate thing that we're living in a time where studios and there's such a disconnection between the studios and the fans.
Yeah.
And entertainment
Mhm.
by and large, pop culture, movies, it's the industry's failing.
Yep.
And they're blaming it on toxic fandom. We're going to be getting into that tomorrow in another video. Uh, we got a lot of thoughts about that whole thing. We're actually going to do a series on that entire premise, the news that just broke out a couple days ago. It's really unfortunate that we're living in this time period, and now I do think it's funny though that actors like Jodie Turner Smith, she's eating her own. Now she's
Yeah.
biting the hand that feeds her. Let's
Yep.
see how that goes.
Yeah.
She's really saying that put your foot down and see if the money goes away. The
Yeah.
money's going away. What are you talking about?
Yeah, the money's already going away. And it has nothing to do with the fans that absolutely despised your show. Black Panther didn't get none of this backlash. X-Men 97, who had a black alphabet community showrunner, that show didn't get none of that. You know, X-Men 97 was getting high praise from tons and tons of people. It had nothing to do with the showrunner and the color of his skin and his
Right.
beliefs in any of that. So this is just another one of those dumb talking points.
Well, and another thing that, we'll get into more of this later, but they love to hit the phobic button to say this person's this,
Mm.
scared of that. And it's a really good way to attack people. But, you know, if I don't want to watch a movie because it goes or leans towards a certain demographic, it doesn't mean that I have a phobia of that or a hatred of those people or anything like that. Just
Yeah,
because that's not my thing. We have constantly said from the beginning of this channel, hey, you can like whatever you like. I don't care.
yeah,
But just because I don't want to watch something doesn't mean that I hate those people. And
yeah,
here's the big difference. And I've said this a million times, but I think it's really important. Our side of this, we don't like the company when they're destroying Star Wars and Marvel and other franchises that we love.
yeah,
But
yeah,
their side, they hate people.
yeah,
They
100%.
they hate people.
Yeah,
And that's the difference.
yeah. I mean, and me and Coach have talked about this in the past. Two of Coach's favorite athletes of all time, Michael Jordan, Mike Tyson. One of my favorite movies I loved, Boys in the Hood. We both listened to Tupac and a bunch of rap music and stuff going on. The
I
race
just
stuff
did a
has,
rap song with the DA on
yeah,
karaoke.
icon, yeah. Race has zero. It's not. It's less than zero. It's negative. To do with any of this stuff on why we have such disdain for
Yeah.
the Acolyte and other shows and projects that Disney's putting out there.
Yep. Well said, brother. We're going to be getting into this more and more as time goes on. You don't want to miss our series where we're breaking into the fan super groups that they're
Ah,
that the industries are creating.
mm,
We got a lot to say there. So
that's going to
stay
be a good
put.
one.
Yep, stay put. As we always say, we are you are Echo Based Network. May the force be with you and everything else that you like, guys. See you
Yeah.
on the next one.
Bye, guys.